Let's face it, life isn't easy. If you're stuck in a bad relationship, betrayed or afraid of tomorrow, financially insecure, or desperate for a breakthrough, you've come to the right place. Dr. Carmen Harra is a renowned psychologist, intuitive, relationship expert, and best-selling author, and she's here to give you the miracle guidance you need. Her new call-in show, Miracle Guidance for Everyday Life, offers profound wisdom, practical advice, daily exercises, and empowering predictions, all for you. Dr. Harra's show aims to eliminate everyday problems, big and small, with topics like healing your relationships, reclaiming your power, achieving better health, dealing with loss, and so much more. Regain the joy, stability, and fulfillment you deserve to feel. Tune in to Miracle Guidance for Everyday Life with host Dr. Carmen Harra, live every Tuesday at 7 p.m. Eastern, and find the answers you've been looking for.
Hello everybody, welcome to another episode of Miracle Guidance, the show that offers you the guidance you need to transform your life. I'm Dr. Carmen Harra, happy to be with you every Tuesday night, 7 p.m. Eastern, right here on OMTimes Radio. And tonight I have a great surprise because I have a special guest, and we're going to talk together about how to prolong life. Is there a secret to a healthier and fuller life? Because many of us do want to do everything we can to prolong our lives. We exercise, we eat right, we get regular screening. But if there is something we can do to expand our lifespan and reduce pain and inflammation, and if that something will be as easy as taking a teaspoon of olive oil, really, every day. So my guest tonight is Chris Burres. He's a research engineer, a scientist whose primary vision is to help people live longer, healthier, pain-free lives. He has a very diverse background in the field of inventions, manufacturing, with a BS in mechanical engineering from the University of Houston. He's a co-inventor of patents related to the use of explosive in downhole oil well drilling, a co-inventor of the most efficient fuel runner manufacturing equipment in use since 1991, and co-owner of a company that manufactures a unique product containing a Nobel-Prize winning molecule that has been shown to extend the lifespan of test subjects by 90%. So how amazing is this? And I want to tell you, the product is called Carbon 60, and I'm going to invite my guest tonight, Chris, to the microphone, and we're going to talk about this amazing product that I want everybody to take, and I will tell you my own experience. Chris, thank you so much for being my guest tonight. I'm so excited to talk to you on the show tonight.
Carmen, thank you so much for having me. I'm excited to have a conversation with you and share some interesting things with your audience.
Right. We have a lot of people listening to the show and a lot of people interested. For a long time, for a number of years, I'm taking Carbon 60. And I've seen some great changes in me. You know, I sleep better, I function better, I'm mentally, more alert. My hair started to grow faster. And I can tell you, it makes me feel more energized. I know that it has this antioxidant effect, and it operates on the extremities of the cell, the telomeres, prolonging life. And I am recommending this constantly on all the social media, telling people how important it is to start taking Carbon 60, because it does an enormous benefit to our bodies. And I read over and over all this statistics and everything that has happened here since 1985, when those three scientists decided to work on this concept. But I want your take on what Carbon 60 is all about, so that our audience can understand this miracle molecule in the most in the easiest way and the most comprehensive way.
Well, since you said comprehensive, I'll run back to the beginning. You actually mentioned 1985. That's when 3 professors at Rice University, that's here in Houston, Texas,
Right.
that's where I'm based, discovered the third form of carbon. So in terms of the third form of carbon, we're all familiar with diamonds, we're familiar with graphite, that's the lead in our pencils, and they discovered the third form of carbon, which as a collection of molecules they called fullerenes. And you were talking about carbon-60. I'm glad I'm here on the show with you because we'll have a shift with you from carbon-60 to ESS-60 because in my mind they're two very different things.
Yeah, you have to explain us what's the difference. Yeah.
Absolutely. And in order to keep your audience safe, we'll talk about the difference and the value that ESS-60 brings to the table. So those three scientists, they made their discovery in 1985. By 1996, they won the Nobel-Prize for their discovery. That's a short 11 years from discovery to actually winning the Nobel-Prize, which is obviously an amazing accomplishment. And the reason they won the Nobel Prize is because as a scientific community, they knew that this particular molecule, what we're calling ESS-60, if you're going to put it in your body, had such amazing properties. It's harder than a diamond. It'll actually turn into a diamond. It's got 6-fold symmetry. In fact, let me kind of describe this most abundant fullerene. If you imagine a soccer ball, the lines on the soccer ball represent the bonds between the carbon atoms. So you have this spherical molecule that looks like a soccer ball of 60 carbon atoms. It's actually big enough inside for any atom on the periodic chart to fit inside of it. And so there's a new symbol in chemistry. It's one of those things, if you add a new symbol to chemistry, you're probably likely to win a Nobel Prize. And they actually did add a symbol. That symbol is the @ symbol. We're familiar with it in our email addresses. In the case of carbon-60, lanthanum at C60 means a lanthanum atom physically trapped inside of that soccer ball cage. It's not bonded ionically or covalently on the exterior. It's physically trapped inside of it. So it is absolutely an amazing molecule. I like to say, and a lot of people would agree with me, that it performs as well or better than the current best material in almost every application. And so because of that, they figured people would be working with this on a regular basis. And if you work with it, you got to know the toxicity. And for various reasons, they assumed this soccer ball-shaped molecule would be toxic, so they published the results of a toxicity study in 2012. And in 2012, what they showed was the following, a pretty amazing result. So in that toxicity study, they gave rats water, rats olive oil, and then rats olive oil with the ESS-60 molecule. Instead of being toxic, those rats given, and really it's the MyVital-C formula, lived 90% longer than the control group, and they all died without tumors. Now, your audience may be going, wait, 90%, that sounds like a big number. It is a big number. It's an
impressive number.
Yeah, it's the single longest longevity experimental result on mammals in history. But do you think this can actually change? This changes medicine. This is huge discovery in the medical field. Huge. Yes, and there are actually patents related to this this buckyball preventing the replication of the AIDS virus. So it's a known antiviral. It's found in we sell it typically in olive oil. Olive oil is a known antibacterial. There's research that shows that the ESS-60 molecule is 172 times more powerful than vitamin C. We know that antioxidant capabilities are really important to our health. And then the final one, and you mentioned in the intro, is inflammation. And I have to be very careful when I talk about inflammation. And this is because the FDA requires me, and I think it's the right decision, as much as it may frustrate me. But I'm required to talk about this as, yes, it absolutely helps with the inflammation associated with exercise, right? So if we exercise a lot, we've felt the pain in our joints, we've felt the pain in our muscles, that is caused by inflammation. What I have to be very careful about is saying, does it address any other types of inflammation? The FDA just won't let me say that. That's fair.
Okay.
What we can say is that it fits very naturally in an anti-inflammatory diet, right? We're familiar with the anti-inflammatory diets associated with the blue zones. Those people have less strokes, they have less heart attacks, they tend to live longer, and so yes, it fits naturally in that anti-inflammatory diet.
So I will ask you, because I said carbon 60 and then you said ESS 60. So explain us, what's the difference between ESS 60 and C60?
Well, the real simple way to look at it, and I've been manufacturing carbon 60 since 1991. My company is actually the first company that still exists to deliver commercial quantities of carbon 60. Carbon 60 is for industrial applications, and there's actually peer-reviewed published research that proves when improperly processed, carbon 60 is harmful. ESS 60 is just that carbon 60 that's been further refined, so it's safer for human consumption. So it's really carbon 60, miracle molecule, ESS 60, miracle molecule that you can consume safely.
Actually, so the product that people should buy and that they are buying from your company is actually ESS 60.
Exactly, Carmen. ESS 60, what keeps consumers safe.
Okay. Now, I will ask you, what steps do we take to make sure the product is filtered of toxins and safe to be consumed? Is there anything we need to do?
Well, I think there's a couple things, and I'll comment in a broader sense. So one, if you're looking for ESS 60, that's come from my company. It's been processed properly, and you're safe. The other thing is, let's talk a little bit about Amazon. A lot of people buy a lot of products from Amazon.
Yes. Thank you for bringing this up, because I promote this for years already, you know. But people go to Amazon because people go all the time to Amazon for everything, and they buy something else that you don't know what they buy.
Unfortunately, I know what they buy, and it's a mistake, right? So I can describe to you, we're one of the largest manufacturers of carbon 60 on the planet. And we had, let me do this kind of, we'll rewind to a story. This is about 2 years ago. There was one particular brand of product that sells their product very cheap on Amazon, and they were buying their C60 from us. And this was in the early days, and we didn't know exactly what they were using the product for. But as soon as we realized that they were using it to mix in an oil to sell to people, we called them and said, listen, you're buying the wrong product. You're buying that C60, that industrial grade C60 that has not been processed for human consumption, and we're not comfortable selling that to you. You need to buy this other product. So we stopped selling to them. I don't know where they get their C60 now. I don't know if they've decided to figure out how to process it properly to be safe. So you've got to be on Amazon. I like to give this, right? Because I'm a consumer. I use Amazon, like almost 2 dozen. And we look at the ratings on Amazon on a regular basis. And ratings are absolutely wonderful for a cell phone, for whatever it is, a stapler, for those things. But I always like to ask, what does a 5-star rating about a supplement mean? And you've got to be really careful here, because if you go look at vitamin C and you see a 5-star rating, here's a couple things that that 5-star rating does not mean. It does not mean that the consumer weighed the individual pills to make sure that they were 1 gram each. They did not do that. They definitely did not take those pills of vitamin C and stick them in a scientific piece of equipment to identify if it was actually ascorbic acid or not, right? Nobody has the scientific. I do. I have it in my lab. It's an HPLC, but nobody has that. They probably didn't even count the number of tabs. If it said 90 and it wasn't an empty bottle, they gave it a 5 stars. I kind of jokingly say a 5-star review on a supplement means they didn't die before they had the opportunity to leave the 5-star rating, because it doesn't mean anything about the quality of the products. So even
Right.
on Amazon, you've got to be very careful, and you've got to, more importantly, like again, we do have our products on Amazon. You've got to understand the history and the pedigree of the company. We're a scientific institution. We didn't just pop into the C60 industry because we knew that people were clamoring for it. We've been delivering commercial quantities of this material to research institutions around the world since 1991, right? Understand the pedigree of the company you're buying from. I don't care what you're buying, even if it's vitamin C, and then make your decisions based on that. And I'm sorry, it's bad news. You got to do a little bit more research. But you know that research is available to you.
So people should buy this from where? From your company. Can you give us the site, the website where people should go to get the real ESS 60?
Yeah, absolutely. And we actually made a link for your audience, so they can go to myvitalseed.com/Carmen. And if they go there, they'll find a page for you. They'll find our products. We actually just came out with a new product that is our tablets. So we've got soft gels with the product in it, because some people, I mean, I personally enjoy olive oil.
That's brilliant.
Right? And so you can get the soft gels. What I do recommend when you get to that page and you're ready to give the product a try, we sell individual bottles and we sell subscriptions. The subscriptions come with about a 25% discount. Even if you're just going to try it, go ahead and go on subscription. You can cancel it at any time. I just want you to take advantage of that discount. So
going on subscription, everybody listening, is the right way to go.
Yes.
And also, I want people to know, our listeners, because I'm going to have this show and I'm going to put it on YouTube, and I have there a lot of people listening to the YouTube. So the people who cannot actually be on the radio right now, they can listen to the show on my YouTube channel, and I'll put also something on Facebook, on Instagram, so that people can grasp the information. And they need to know that, there's a link to the show, and then there's also the possibility of the subscription. And this is the way, you guys listening, you get a discount. So very significant to know that you can get a discount through the subscription and through going to the link. That I'm going to also make sure that you guys get the link. And the link is also including my name. So this is the way people can get, I think, $50 off.
So what they can do is get, if they go on some subscription, they get 25% off. And again, they can cancel at any time. Our customer service
that's
is not
the best
trained.
way to go, actually.
Yes. And then there's a coupon code. If they use the coupon code Carmen, they'll get an additional $15 off of their initial purchase.
That's fantastic. Now, I want to ask you, a lot of our listeners will probably ask you and me, can I take this in combination with other supplements? For example, like people take daily vitamins or even medication. Does this intervene or no with the medication that people take?
So I'll get to the medication. Let me kind of set a description that I like to share with everyone, because I actually never wanted to be in the supplement industry. We were a very happy company selling carbon nanomaterials to research institutions around the world. They do this crazy toxicity study, and then our customers are calling and saying, hey, how much can I consume? It's my personal belief that most people get into the supplement industry one of two ways. One of the ways is they wake up and they decide they want to be wealthy, and they decide they're going to do it with supplements. And I have no problem with people being wealthy. It's just not how I ended up here. The other way is people have their own physical challenges, or maybe the physical challenges of a loved one, and they solve those through supplementation, and then they decide that they want to save the world. Hopefully it doesn't surprise you. I am in no way against people saving the world. It's just not how I ended up here. I've been making this molecule since 91. They do this, again, crazy toxicity study, and then our customers are asking for the product. When we ultimately decided to get into the supplement industry, really it was in 2018, we had to ask ourselves two questions. The first and most important question for me is a moral question. Am I comfortable selling this product? I take it, my wife takes it, everybody on our team here in Houston takes it. I am absolutely comfortable selling the product. And then the next question is a legal question, and we've got to follow the guidelines of the FDA and the FTC. Mm-hmm. And we're doing that. In fact, one of the things, the processes that we have to follow with the FDA is for any serious adverse effects that are ever reported to us, we have to report them to the FDA. And to date, we have not had to report anything. So that's no interactions with other supplements. That's no interactions with other drugs. That's no severe allergic reactions. Like, we have literally not had to report anything to the FDA, and it's our legal responsibility.
In other words, you're telling us that there is no interaction, so they can feel free and go ahead and take whatever any other supplements or medication because there is no interaction, and you haven't seen this in like 30 years, so that's pretty remarkable.
Well, let's be. I want to be very careful because 30 years is how long we've been manufacturing the molecule.
Okay.
It's really been about the latter part of 2012 since people have been taking this.
Also in the last 9 years, yeah.
In the last 9 years, and it's important to note. I'm not saying, hey, yes, you have the clear. What I am saying is there is no research, and there have been no reports to us, to our customer base, from our customer base, of adverse effects related to any other supplements or any other drugs or any other allergies.
Right. Now I'm in the medical field, so I heard about you years ago through one of my colleagues, and I had no idea where to buy it from exactly. So at the beginning, I did the same mistake, going to Amazon like everybody. And then I heard about you, and then I acknowledged the difference. And since then, I'm a very happy customer, I tell you. In my own experience, it has been amazing. And I've recommended it to so many people who are always reaching back to me and telling me, this is Dr. Harra, this is fantastic. So I need to congratulate you and express gratitude for everything you do for all of us. And also let you know we have a lot of callers interested probably to talk to you, from Leilani to Patty to Pauline. So these ladies would love to get your opinion and probably find much more. But I'm going to ask my producer if we want to take a break, because I know we're taking some breaks during the show. And I'm going to ask Christopher, let's take a 1 minute break and we'll be back, and then we'll take out calls, and I have more questions for you.
Great.
The best of the holistic, spiritual, and conscious world. OMTimes Radio. IOM FM.
OMTimes magazine is one of the leading online content providers of positivity, wellness, and personal empowerment. A philanthropic organisation, their net proceeds are funneled to support worldwide charity initiatives via Humanity Healing International. Through their commitment to creating community and providing conscious content, they aspire to uplift humanity on a global scale. Connect at omtimes.com. OMTimes, creating a more conscious lifestyle.
My name is Victor Furman. Some call me The Voice. I've always been fascinated with human nature, spirituality, science, and the crossroads at which they meet. Join me Wednesdays at 8 p.m. Eastern on OMTimes Radio, and we'll explore these topics and so much more on Destination Unlimited.
COVID-19, brought to you by CDC and the Ad Council.
If you're feeling increasingly lonely right now, you're not alone. It's totally normal. Even though we may not be able to get together in person, connecting virtually with friends and family still gives you a chance to interact with people and may help raise your spirits. Join a virtual book club, set up group text chats, or online video coffee breaks with coworkers.
Find more self-care and coping tips at coping-19.org.
And I'm back, Carmen Harra, with my amazing guest today, Chris Burres, and he is the co-owner of a company that manufactures a unique product containing this Nobel-Prize winning molecule that has been shown to extend the lifespan. So that's so amazing, Chris. So before we go to the calls, if you are okay answering some of the questions that people have for you, I will ask you about the two companies that you have here, SES Research and My Vital C, and I want to let know the audience if there is a difference. Is there any difference between these two companies?
Well, yeah. So SES Research is really the research organization and is the whole owner of the brand My Vital C. And My Vital C is the retail product. So we sell at SES Research kind of a product that's more geared towards research scientists, so that they can get a hold of the product and potentially recreate the rat experiment or something along those lines. My Vital C is a customer forward business. Because it's focused on our customers, we decided to put the products in glass bottles. So I know that's really important to a lot of our customer bases. And so it comes in a full retail box. It comes with the glass bottle. We actually have, and Carmen, I don't know if you've ever had any of this. We actually have a packaging. We won an American Marketing Association award for the packaging for My Vital C. It comes in little tubes, and the tube is exactly 5 mils or 1 teaspoon. That's the recommended serving size. And that's, that's available at My Vital C. We also have the capsules, so the gel caps. Those are available at My Vital C.
So actually people can go and buy from My Vital C, no? Or they can still buy it from SES Research.
Well, what I would recommend is that they go to your link, right? And that link is myvitalc.com/Carmen.
Okay.
And then they can get all the products that we just mentioned. Absolutely.
And they can get the product, and they can also get those $15 discount on the first purchase.
And the $15 discount applies to their first order, and the coupon code for your audience is Carmen. And before we answer any questions, I just wanted to share, in your opening, you talked about people being interested in living longer, and I just wanted to share kind of a story related to that.
Please.
I end up telling, the rat story and this story to a lot of people, and it may or may not surprise you. It surprised me in the beginning how many people would say to me, Chris, why would I want to live longer? And I was kind of shocked in the beginning because for me, I've always wanted to live longer. And for whatever reason, probably from my teenage years, I thought 125 was a good target for me. And if I'm being honest, my picture of 125 is probably what most people's picture of 125 was back then. But I was okay with that because I really wanted to have that longer life. And so really what happens when you talk to people about living longer is, as a society, we have yet to be able to separate living longer with living infirmed. Like, we just accept as a fact for now that if I'm going to live longer, I'm going to live maybe in a wheelchair or with an oxygen tank or whatever it
That's
may be.
what people think when they think, oh, I'm going to get old. I don't want to be like that. I don't want to live that life yet. Like, you lose the quality of life. But why does it have to be this way,
Well, and I think, I often joke in that 2012 quote-unquote toxicity study that turned out to be the longest longevity experiment on mammals in history. There was no notation in the research that the rats that lived 90% longer were walking around with little rat walkers and, little rat oxygen tanks. They lived healthy rat lives until they passed. And so that's the mindset that we have to have. And I think there is a shift that's starting to occur. I don't know if you would call it grassroots or if it's, I'm not sure that
I totally agree. Yes.
Right? One of the leaders is a Harvard medical professor. He's not a medical doctor, but Dr. David Sinclair is kind of leading this charge. And I think we're going to see a quantum shift in what we believe about what aging looks like. Even this most recent Super Bowl was a great testament to the change in aging. It was the oldest quarterback to ever be in a Super Bowl against the youngest quarterback to ever be in a Super Bowl, and the oldest quarterback won.
Wow. Well, I just saw recently a documentary on a woman from Georgia, I guess, which she lived, she's still alive, 117, but she was absolutely perfect. She still moves, she still can dance. Her memory was there. I mean, it was such an extraordinary story. And I said, this is where we're going. If everybody uses your product, this is what's going to happen in the world. People are going to live very, very long lives. So everybody listening, this is the best show I've ever done, because this is what we need to do. Prolong, extend the quality of life, and be in a great shape at 100 or something, because it's really possible. And I really believe that's where mankind is going. This is why this is where the world is going. We need to start, giving up on this ideas and concept that we're done in the 70s, our life is over as we turn 80. It doesn't have to be this way. On the contrary,
I love what Dr. Gundry said. So Dr. Gundry is a 2-time New York Times #1 bestseller. He's got a book, Plant Paradox and Longevity Paradox, and his phrase is, I want you to die young at a very old age.
Oh, this is so beautiful. Oh my God, I'm going to keep this in my heart. This is beautiful. So die young at a very old age. That's so beautiful. Yeah. And that's exactly what's going to happen if everybody listening and all of you, really care about yourselves and care about your kids, about your families, and about accomplishing a life of your dream. Take this product, because it's absolutely, I don't know how you feel about taking it, but me, when I take my syringe every single day, my teaspoon of olive oil with carbon, I feel extremely good. I sleep better, and I can see my vision is better. I went to my eye doctor, and he said, what have you done? You can see better than you used to see 3 years ago. And I started telling him about what I'm taking. He said, really? I've never heard. I said, well, now you know. Go ahead and buy
it. Now you know the decision to take it or not is yours.
Right. But this is, this is something where we should, we have to do this. So, I have a lot of people calling it. Sorry.
Yeah, if you've got questions, let's take some questions.
Yes, we'll take questions, and again, we'll let people know if they interested, because you're the one to answer them. But I am just somebody who wants to promote this because I believe in it, because I went through this experiment. I tested on myself, and before I recommend to my patient, to my clients, to my friends, I said, let me try it first, see how it is working on me. And now my kids are taking it, all my friends are taking it, and not to tell you, people all over the globe. I have followers in Europe, and everybody's asking me, where can I get this? Where can I get it? And now that I have a link, and I also, by the way, want to invite you with me if you want to be on a live Facebook. I'm doing a lot of lives on Facebook or Instagram. And then we have thousands of people joining us. And this is also getting a very large audience. So we need to get as many people to start on this, because it's so beneficial for their health. It's not only an antioxidant, because there's a lot of antioxidant. This is way better than just an antioxidant. This is just so powerful. It's way more powerful than vitamin C, in my opinion. It's just a way to energize the body. And as I said, the extremities of the cell, the telomeres, are living longer. So consequently, the cells are living longer, doubling, their lives. So
Carmen,
this is miracle.
I do want to comment on the telomeres, because I know that there's some organizations out there, and frankly, I throw them into the industrial carbon 60 group, who are talking about the extension of telomeres. In fact, there's one particular guy who calls himself a scientist who's out there on a regular basis, and I'm actually connected with him. So through Facebook, I reached out to him and said, hey, this is amazing. Like, where's the research? And his response was, well, everybody knows this to be true. And I was like, well, that's great, Mr. Scientist, but where's the research? Because like all that matters to me is
Okay.
the actual research. And
Of
he
course.
goes, no, like we know it, it's true. And then I was like, no, seriously, where's the research? And he goes, well, there's no research. So you do have to be careful. There's no now. Is it possible?
So there's no research. Okay.
There is nothing that says that telomeres are extending in the presence of ESS60. No, that research
okay.
does not actually exist. And it's one of the challenges. I mean, it's one
It
of the
is
reasons
a challenge because I thought that this is the way, one of what the facts should be, working on at the cellular level, because this does work at the cellular level.
Oh, it definitely works at the cellular level. Let me give you a couple of examples that potentially will blow your mind. So this ESS60 molecule is 60 atoms, right?
Right.
And it's tiny, and people don't really have a reference point for how tiny it is. I'm going to ask a question which I do not expect you in any way to know the answer to, but just to give a perspective. How many atoms do you think is in each cell in our body?
Tell me.
100 trillion.
Okay. I didn't know that.
So you've got a molecule with 60 carbon atoms, and the cells in your body have 100 trillion atoms in them. So this is so small, wherever it can go, it will go, right? So one of the things that we know is that it gets into the mitochondria. Now the mitochondria...
Right, it gets into the mitochondria. Yeah, that's true.
Yes, that we know, and it participates in the ATP process. For those in your audience who don't know, every cell in our body has a mitochondria. That mitochondria is the powerhouse of the cell. It's where your cell gets the energy to do its job, right? And if you were in a room of mitochondrial physician experts and said, hey, would it be good to have an antioxidant, really a free radical sponge in the mitochondria while it's going through its energy-using ATP process, all of them would raise their hand. Well, ESS60 is a free radical. It's known to be a free radical sponge. There's at least one study that showed it to be 172 times more powerful than vitamin C, and it is in the mitochondria. Now, is that enough to have? Is that one feature, the fact that it participates in the mitochondria ATP process, enough to explain all of the other benefits? Like you're getting sleep, I get better sleep. I've got to be careful. In fact, I'm going to take this time to say the FDA has not evaluated our product. Our product is not intended to treat, diagnose, cure, or prevent any disease. Any anecdote I share is something that's very personal and may not apply to you, or is through somebody that I know that's documented, and I could go back to them and reference them and get a hold of them. And also might not apply to you. In my case, I played soccer for 25 years. I had a knee pain. As soon as I started taking the My Vital C formula, that knee pain went away. I used to get 4 or 5 migraines per year in 2018 when I started taking the My Vital C formula on a regular basis. I didn't get a single migraine in 2018. My wife, who used to get 9+ migraines a month, is down to 1 migraine a month or every other month even.
Wow.
So those are some of my personal
the personal experiences. I'm going to go to Patty from Queens. Hi, Patty. Are you with us? Patty? Patty drop off. I'm going to go to Leilani. Hi, Leilani. Are you still with us?
Yes. Hi. How are you?
So I have an amazing guest. Are you listening to the show?
I am, and it's so fascinating. I'm in Sedona, Arizona. I was visiting my spirit grandfather. He's not my blood grandfather. He's age 93. He lives alone. He cooks. He cleans. He walks every day. He drives sometimes an hour away to get groceries. And
incredible.
He's one of the most amazing men I've ever met. He actually feels like more like a grandfather than my family, and we're a lot alike.
You should recommend this product.
Yes. And what I wanted to say is I agree with you both that we don't have to take the culture's stigma about age this man looks like he's 60. I mean, he's fit. He eats one meal a day. And I believe, too, it does start with the mind. He meditates, and he doesn't consider himself old. And he listens to what his body needs. He actually does muscle testing for what foods he can eat and cannot eat. He's just very in tune. He's an empath. And I'm super excited about this product. I'm going to have to check it out. And
check it out, and you have to take it yourself, Leilani.
Yeah, I noticed. I'm just fascinated with the body.
Do you have any question for Chris? Do you want to ask Chris something? About the product?
Yeah, I guess I just want to know, like, how much do you have to take a day? And you said it doesn't interact with anything else. And I wanted Chris to know, I don't care if it's approved by the FDA. I don't trust the FDA, actually. When I have an ailment, when I have something, I go to Spirit for the message. But then, where else I like to go is the apothecary. That used to be our medical doctor, was the apothecary with the jars of herbs and the salves. And I guess my question for Chris, I tore 3 ligaments in my left knee in kind of a crazy accident on the bus where I stood up and my knee went one way and my ankle went another way. And I have healed it. The doctors are like, well, surgery. I said, no, thank you. But it sometimes aches and it's sometimes a little sore, and I can't fully go into a lot of the yoga poses I used to. And I wanted to see what you think, if that supplement will help.
Well, Leilani, thank you for kind of connecting with us and sharing your story about your spiritual grandfather.
Thank you.
Hopefully helping to change the mindset about what living longer can ultimately mean. Of course, FDA disclaimer, we haven't been evaluated for pain, and really you're still feeling some inflammation, and I kind of talked a little bit about what we can say about inflammation. But it would not surprise me. There is actually one, and this was in an animal model. I believe it was in rats, where they did a study with the ESS60 molecule, and it improved cartilage production. And so again, that's in a rat. It's not in a human, and so there's a long way to go. But it would not surprise me if it benefited that. I can tell you, again, I played soccer for 25 years. I have just this weird knee pain on the top of my patella, and it's just, I've never had it again. Like, since I've been taking this product on a regular basis, like that knee pain is gone. Also, my dentist, I've got a video testimonial from my dentist, and he's bent over patients all day, and I loved his phrase. He goes, "I feel like the Tin Man, except after he's been oiled."
Incredible.
So hopefully that gives you some insight.
Thank you so much. I will get it.
I love you, Leilani, and thank you so much for calling our show. You've been great. Thank you. And I'm going to go and take another call. I have Pauline from New York. Hi, Pauline.
Hi, Carmen. Thank you for having this special guest. It's very interesting. But I have a couple of questions that probably never was, I don't think you got asked these questions. Have you heard that our body is no longer, it's switching over from carbon-based to silica or crystalline? So I'm wondering if, I guess most people would definitely benefit from this, but there's some of us who have done a lot of work on ourselves vibrationally and all the other stuff, that we're switching over to a crystalline body. So I'm curious if he believes that the carbon will help those people. And
well, Pauline, thank you so much for calling in and for that question. And I'm probably not the best suited to answer it, but I'll give it my best shot. If you're talking about silica and then crystalline, what still remains is that the components that make up our body are highly carbon based. So the individual atoms are carbon. I talked about 100 trillion atoms in any one of our given cells. Those atoms are mostly comprised of carbon, and I'm unaware of any process or anything that you could do to swap those out. Having said that, if you have and you're functioning as is typical, if vitamin C is still useful to you, if anti-inflammatories are still useful to you, if you're still functioning from a medical perspective in a similar fashion, then it wouldn't matter which base you are.
Makes sense. Yeah, we're still human. Some of us have like galactic families, so we probably have a few different things, but basically we have the human, form. The other question is, have you had anybody who has been vaccinated using this, and has it helped them or made maybe the symptoms go? I don't really know, but the fact that people have been vaccinated, will this affect people who have done that?
Yeah, so all I can really share is that there isn't any research done on that. I'm unaware of anybody who has or hasn't been vaccinated, who is or is not on our product, experiencing something significantly different other than what we're talking about as it relates to inflammation, as it relates to getting into the mitochondria. One of the big things that
I would think it should help. If they have any from what I'm hearing about these side effects, I would think that your product should help them, stop whatever it could damage in the body.
Yeah, and remember, the damage is mostly caused by our body's immune systems. So it's not that the vaccine is going out there and attacking something. It's that our body is firing up to attack the vaccine, which it's supposed to do, so then it can attack the virus later. And so anything that you can do to mitigate, in fact, we've got a pretty long paper, hasn't been pushed out yet, on dampening the immune system, because it's not, when you're fighting COVID, you want to stay away from those things that cause your system to be under prepared, and those things that cause it to be overexcited about this vaccine. So it's really a proper balance of your immune system that causes the best response, because you absolutely do need a response. You just don't want it to be an overly active response, if that makes sense.
And I gather, let's say somebody has back surgery, but they had like titanium rods. They still have pain. So I'm assuming that if you can reduce some of your knee pain, I'm hoping, even though they're using metal in their spine, that it still helps the pain for the rest of the body. I don't really know what exact pain it is, but I know it's chronic pain from 3 surgeries. I just can't see it hurting, right? Trying it and see what happens.
Well, yeah, and in this case, I'm going to say there's no guarantee. Yes, right, absolutely, try it and find out. I can just tell you, so we really started bringing this product to market. We didn't really want to get into the supplement market, but that started happening in 2018. For the first 9 months, I was answering the phone quite a bit and talking to people, and they were sharing us with amazing things. So like Pauline would call me and she would say, "Oh, my knee pain is gone." And I'm a scientist. And so I'd be like, "Pauline, as a human, I believe what you're telling me. As a scientist, I don't know exactly what to do with this information. I don't know if I'm supposed to believe it. I don't know what the mechanisms behind it are." And so it was a very uncomfortable situation for me. But, after 9 months of these testimonials, these continual testimonials, the same testimonials that Carmen's given coming in, I'm just, I'm kind of over it. It still, a little surprises me. And I'm in a unique position, because if somebody says, and we probably get 3 to 5% of people like, "Oh, it didn't really help me," I'm not offended, because I didn't actually make this to make Pauline better or Carmen better. I've been making this carbon nanomaterial since 91. They do the crazy toxicity study, and now I'm just trying to spread the message of that initial research, and people are just sharing amazing things, and I'm just not surprised anymore.
I am concerned of nano products. Anytime I hear the word nano, I think something's wrong when it's nano. But it could be naturally nano. That's different than, like if it's artificially created to be nano. That's when I have concern. How is this created nano?
That's a great question. Absolutely great question. So first off, this is a naturally occurring molecule. If you if you collect the soot from a candle, you will find parts per million, parts per billion of the industrial C60, which, then you need to kind of isolate and refine. When we make it in a reactor, because, collecting it from the soot of a candle at parts per million, parts per billion, there's no way we're ever going to get enough to stick in a jar, right? When we make it in a reactor, because the molecule is so simple, it's not like making a hormone, which is a really complex molecule, and subtle differences in the structure of the molecule can have a big impact on how it interacts with the body. That would be kind of nanotechnology that has the potential to go awry, and we're familiar with differences in artificial hormones versus real hormones, natural hormones. In our case, the molecule's so simple, and it's literally only 60 carbon atoms. So when we manufacture it in a reactor, or we get it from candle soot, or there's actually a barrier of the Earth when the asteroid hit, there's that layer that was created when the asteroid hit the Earth and killed off the dinosaurs. That's called the KT boundary. That has an elevated level of carbon-60 in it. Wherever you get it, it's the exact same molecule. It's that naturally occurring molecule. And remember, we're talking about 60 atoms and one cell in your body, which is necessary just to do one function, whether it's to be a skin cell or a liver cell or a kidney cell. One cell has 100 trillion atoms. This has only 60. Right? So, yes, it's nano, but it's the kind of nano that no one can mess with. Like, you can't take a carbon-60 and attach a radio and an arm, and, like, it's not that kind of nano. It's like real nano that, and frankly, go ahead.
No, I was going to say that it reminds me of Superman, but Superman had kryptonite as his thing, but this is like a superpower. Having the C60, it sounds like the opposite of like kryptonite for like Superman, but it's like it's like Popeye eating the spinach. It's like super strength for us, or super helping us with our cells. It really is interesting.
Yeah, it's fast. I'm very lucky, one, to have been in this industry since '91, and then two, to like get the joy of coming on like Carmen's show and sharing this research, and then a lot of people will try it from the show, and a lot of people will report back to Carmen the benefits that she's experiencing, that they experience. Like, I couldn't be a luckier human, I don't think.
You really are.
Let me let you go.
Calling.
Yeah, thank you for the answers.
I love you, and I'm going to take one last call. Susan. Hi, my dear Susan.
Hi, I'm just wondering, I have vitiligo, and I'm wondering if your product works for people with vitiligo.
What can you tell me a little bit more about that?
Vitiligo is the pigmentation of your skin goes away, so you become very white patches.
Okay, so I'm unaware of any research. What I can share, and this is really almost the opposite, is that I've got some sunspots on my hand, and this is a very kind of interesting story. We're working on a skincare product that incorporates not just our ESS60 molecule, but another molecule that we've kind of actually has 30 years of research behind it, and still nobody knows about it. And one day I was in my business partner's office, and he looked at my hands, and he goes, "You've got some really old hands." And I was like, "Well, I do, because all of these sunspots there were nice and dark, and I actually have a kind of a birthmark a little farther up my arm, and it was as dark as my birthmark." And then I honestly, I would have taken before pictures. I just wasn't, like, we're just trying some different formulas and trying some different things. We're geeky lab guys. And I went to him 7 days later, and I was like, "Well, how about my hand now?" And the sunspots have faded to a significant degree, so that I don't have those old hands that he referenced earlier.
So this says it all, Susan. You got your answer.
Yeah, it sounds like it will work, because vitiligo.
It will work, yeah.
The immune system, so I think that would help. Thank you.
And we're about, Susan, we're about, she can listen and maybe after she hangs up, we're about to come out with just a kind of a skin serum. So we're going to be packaging that, and it'll be like an inside-out product where you can have this product on your skin, and that's getting rave reviews. And you can have
that's amazing.
The ESS60 molecule. Yeah.
Fantastic. And I'm going to take 1 minute, Robin from Pennsylvania. Hi, Robin. What's your question to Chris?
And yes, I'm trying to be happy as much as I can. Right now, every lawyer has discouraged me. They don't want to take the case. I just contacted someone, a big firm in Indiana, and they're referring me to another place. I only have 2 more months for the tort claim to go through.
Call me this separately. Give me a call after the show, and we'll talk. Do you have any questions to Chris about the product?
The product itself, I don't, unless I possibly need it. I mean, the only thing that happens to me is like my feet are totally numb and my legs are kind of numb too.
Well, try it because it might help. Chris, I'm very grateful for your presence on the show, and I'm grateful for this amazing product. Everybody listening, please go to myvitalc /Carmen and get this product to live a longer, healthier life. And Chris, you've been amazing. I'm very grateful and hope to see you. Hope to see you on a live Instagram or Facebook, just to speak much more about this extraordinary product that you guys are doing. And I'm very grateful. And God bless you.
Yes, I will be there.
Thank you. Thank you for listening, everybody. I'm Carmen Harra.